Special guest today, Katrina with us.
Oh, I'm the special guest.
Yeah.
Take that.
We're at Tom's house today. We're fixing a kind of a drainage issue, having trouble getting water away from the house. We're in the flatlands here. I think you'll enjoy this approach because, well, it's a challenge for us. There's not many approaches available to us because it's so flat here. Let's get started.
Great.
Cool, project's done.
Now typically, I don't like to be adding a lot of soil next to the house. I would prefer to work on the drainage away from the house, right? So there's negatives to adding soil to a house. There's an opportunity for bugs and moisture and to get some rot there and that next to that foundation. I just don't like doing that. In this situation, we're choosing that approach because there's no way to drain it. We really don't have any slope away from this house. In my opinion, the house was built too low. It should have been built up higher to deal with this originally, but that's how it was built. Tom owns about 2 acres here, I think, and it is essentially flat. We might have an inch or 2 of slope right to the edge of his property, but I'm really afraid that we just wouldn't be able to use that effectively. I just didn't see any approach that could keep us from bringing some soil in here. I really believe it's settled next to the house after the house was built anyway. We've got a mixture of nice black topsoil that I'm using now and some subsoil. Tom got all his soil for free. If you're patient, I mean, he waited over a year looking for soil, talking to people, I guess networking, to find some soil, and some of it was really good, like this, and some of it was subsoil. So I think we've got some areas on the back that need a little extra soil. Maybe we can put some of that subsoil down to start, and then we'll still put the topsoil on top. I really wish I would have brought either forks or a grapple. All I've got to deal with these rocks is the bucket. I don't even have a chain, so I'm going to have Tom help me. I don't want to cut your fingers off. You okay? Okay, I'll get that other one over there while we're at it.
Okay. Good.
So you want them right in there in the pile, right, Tom?
Yeah.
You go in there and tell me how far in you want them. Is that going to be far enough?
I think that's about good. Yep, exactly.
I'll go a little further forward than that when I let them out.
Good.
Like that.
Try one more time.
So much easier with the grapple. Okay, you want any more particular placement? I can do a little better if you want.
Just a little farther. Might squash the big toad right here. Perfect. Perfect, thank you.
Try that with a skid steer loader. Yeah, I mean, we're able to get over those flowers. I don't think I did any permanent damage. Maybe one or two leaves there, but it won't be
No, it's okay.
too bad. But that's what you can get away with a little tractor. Tom says that pipe right there is plugged up and it's perforated. I can see he's probably right. Rather than take the effort today to dig that up, we're just going to cover it up. If you'll notice, he has shortened the downspout because we're going to be putting more soil up to it. So we'll run our own at some point later, probably. We're on someone else's property, and that always makes me think about insurance. Because, well, you guys know what it's like. We promised a long time ago to take some questions and have a formal insurance company give accurate and supported answers on insurance. Let's take a look at one now. Hey, we're here in front of Steve's really nice tiller today, bringing you another question and answer, the answer provided by Country Financial, trying to answer your insurance questions. Your questions have been, we've received them at tractortimewithtim.com/insurance for several months, and we are seeing some questions that are just kind of floating to the top as being ones asked the most frequently. And today's question is, I'm wanting to use my tractor for hire. Okay, I'll be off my property, I'll be using it for hire, I'll probably be, making a little money with it.
Okay.
What kind of coverage do I need?
In a situation like that, you want to consider a micro or small business policy. Very cost effective, but does provide liability off premises while working for hire.
Okay.
And also physical damage coverage can be added very easily to that as well.
Okay, because for me, that's what I'm concerned about is this liability. I'm concerned about
Sure.
if I damage someone's property, if I heaven forbid, have an injury of some sort while I'm on a job, that would just be awful. So that's what I want to make sure is covered. So one of these small business, micro business policies would handle that.
Yes, it sure would.
Okay, hey, if you have questions that we haven't covered yet in these segments, you can speak to your own agent. Go to countryfinancial.com/TTWT. and you can submit a request there, and you can get some reply from Country Financial. Thanks, Steve.
Yep, thank you.
The first thing I want you to do, Christy, is to run the innermost wheel right on the hump of dirt. Okay. And the front gauge wheel on and push the dirt. Angle it so that you're pushing it that way. Let's say you're coming in from this direction right here. Angle it so that you're pushing the dirt that way. Makes sense toward the house.
Okay.
Because I didn't put the dirt all the way up against the house.
Okay.
You'll get started smoothing, and then the next trip through, you can actually drive a little bit closer to the house each time.
Okay.
Right? So the first time you start on the hump, and then keep moving a little bit closer until you get as close to the house as you can get. And then once we kind of get it smooth and we decide it's the right elevation, Tom can do the final smoothing after that.
Okay.
But I think you can get started there, and we'll see if we need any more soil right there. Make sense?
I'll try.
Now I think I've got the thing adjusted right now, so it's smooth, it's level. So what I mean is, it's not going to be very aggressive if you're on level ground. You could probably come out in the grass and barely take the grass off, right? It's not digging in.
Right.
And I think that's how we're going to want it. Since we're bringing in soil, I think we're going to want it.
We don't want to mess up.
We shouldn't have to be too aggressive moving the. as at least a temporary TTWT camera girl.
Well, I gotta tell you, the new audio system is making my ears rather sweaty.
Your ears are sweaty.
My ears are sweaty.
You know, I've heard, you remind me about how many complaints I've heard over the years.
Yeah.
And I don't remember you ever complaining about sweaty ears.
Well, I've never had to wear this thing
Yeah.
before. Tell you what, I come back, you have this fancy audio system, and it's 90 degrees, and I have to stand here like this.
Yeah. But you can hear me even when the tractor's running.
That's even worse.
Yeah. I can boss you around even when the tractor's going wide open.
I gotta tell you, I have some advice for any other 23-year-olds out there. If your parents start a YouTube channel, don't let them get the fancy audio system.
She got it from me. I'm, you know, maybe I taught you to complain a little
Well,
bit.
where's your Yeti of Coke or Pepsi?
Hey, do you need some Diet Pepsi?
I need some Diet Pepsi. That
Okay.
would help.
Not sponsored by Diet Pepsi, but wouldn't that be cool?
Wow, my ears are perfectly dry, back to normal.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah, there's concrete right here, so I want to set it right on that.
Oh, there's concrete.
There is, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't working. He's the guy in the way there.
Yeah, let's put these maybe right there. I think so.
Could you throw a little rock under it? As far as you can throw it?
But yeah, this is my time to shine. For the shovel might be the easiest way.
Oh,
Choose this little guy right here.
Oh my goodness.
It's him showing off his muscles.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That's exactly what mine did on the other side. Push it, Dad.
Pretty much.
This is how big kids play with rocks. All right, I think that's good. And wherever it lands, it's going to be good. I like it.
Rake in there, whatever you want.
Boy, it's so wet.
Yeah, this is just the hard part now without that other tractor being able to get in here.
You like playing in it, don't you? Yeah.
It's a little bit hard to show you the angles, the slopes on video, especially when there aren't any, like this property. There really isn't much drop at all, so it was going to be really hard for us to get it to drain away from the house. Typically, I think that having extra soil brought in is not necessary. I think when you live on a couple of acres, you ought to be able to find soil on your own property, and you ought to be able to come up with a way to drain it. And I think we could have here. I think it was just going to be a lot more work. And there was going to have to be a lot of perfection, and maybe even we were going to have to run a swale probably, I mean, I'm looking out toward the road, probably 100 yards or more. And so I think for this particular project, bringing in some soil wasn't too bad of an idea. I really believe in surface drainage. I think that's the #1 key to keeping your crawl space dry. I know that at times you need to have some French drains and tiles under the ground. There's nothing you can do to prevent that, but surface drainage is the easiest, it's the cheapest way to get your property to drain. It's also sure because you're not going to have a tile plugging up or just, you know, somebody running over the end of it. It's a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to maintain. So we're really done with Tom's project now. But he's got a lot of extra soil over what we thought we needed. So I'm just going to haul some of that off to a pile in the back part of his yard. It's brought up a couple of thoughts for me. One is it'd take a lot of trips with a wheelbarrow. There's no question. But then when I think about using Johnny in back and forth trips like this, it's easy to want to hurry this up. So it's easy to want to go real fast when you go back and forth between the pile, between loading and unloading. And I would encourage you to be careful when you're full, because you get a big load in the bucket, and I realize that's not a full load, but a big load in the bucket, and you go fast, you start bouncing that front axle. That's pretty rough on it. Don't hesitate when you're empty, shift it into high gear and go on back. But when you got a load on, be a little careful. You don't want to tear up that front axle. It's been a hot day, but it's quite breezy, and so that's helped a little bit. I think the primary problem here that we were working on was water in your crawl space, right?
Yeah.
And every big rain, there would be water. Again, it's hard to show the slopes on camera. They just don't show up very good. But we had kind of a consistent slope toward the house. It looked like it had kind of settled in over the years, and really that's what we were trying to tackle here. And because of the way that was, a consistent hump around the outside, we just felt like we couldn't get it to drain all the way out to the edge of your property. Your property is just so flat.
Yeah, and you could see in the crawl space the water seeping through even just in a few spots. I'm sure this will help solve that problem.
Yeah, well, let us know if it doesn't. We'll be interested in hearing the results, but I think the main thing is getting the water away from the house.
Yeah.
That'll solve a lot of drainage issues.
I'm excited.
You look tired.
I'll be fine.
This has been a lot of fun to me. Hope
too.
It's been fun to you.
For sure. Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. I might be able to drag it if I could get my bucket under it a little further.
I need the wife.
He needs the decision maker.
I don't know, is that weird?
It's like defying gravity.
Yeah.
All right, last adjustment and then we'll do lunch. Let's pull this one out a little bit farther. That'll lean it a little bit more and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Is that cool, Tim?
Look, it's your tree or your rock or your tree or whatever.
Hope we got that on video.